So then I go live. I'll go live on here. Sick. Sweet, guys. We're all paneled up. Corey, you're not in my panel yet. We invited you, but you didn't join. There you go. Nice. Perfect. Sick. I know, right? Guys, I need you, please share this. We are trying something new and fun for TikTok panels, debate panels. Please, please share. It really helps us get to a lot of people. That's how so many of you found us so quickly. And it really helps us get out to a lot of people right now. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. I think the debate panel night. Perfect. Nice, dude. We got 45. Awesome, guys. Thanks for coming in. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Normally we are doing the Dr. Greg show at this time, but instead we are special guests, Corey and Prime, my friends from the internet, my friends from Twitch world. But we are trying to do a science-based panel. So Prime does some of the best Twitch debates panels out there. And Corey is this fellow scientist. So we're trying to bring elevate the debate discourse a little bit, have some interesting expert topics, and yeah, getting going right here. Oh no, I haven't been spinning. Sorry guys, 1 second. We were just getting some technical stuff all set up. Dude, that's crazy. Thought I was streaming with Atrium to Twitch this entire time, but I haven't. I haven't streamed to Twitch in 11 days. That's good to know. Whoops. Okay. Okay, sick. Let's do that. Okay, cool. How about that? We'll just do that, and then I'll just be, and then I don't know what the video is doing on my end. This is fine for me. This is perfect. Can my, oh, there you go. So do you want my audio through the Twitch or through the StreamYard? Roger. Okay, muting on Twitch, audio through StreamYard. Roger. Yeah. Yeah, we are ready. Yeah, it's open. If anyone wants to come in, they can. We can hear all of you as well. Nice. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Sweet guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Take it away, Prime. Do you have something to Dr. Greg Show. Yeah, man. I am Dr. Greg. I've done molecular biology for 16 years. I genetically modify organisms for a living, basically. And I have a microbiology PhD and done work with nanotubes and algae and yeast and just making as much protein as possible from a cell, you know? and yeah, so I would love to discuss and figure out how we can go forward and create forward movement in regards to fighting back against all this onslaught against science. You know, that I think that's the biggest thing is that it's easy to feel so down and it's easy to, you know, because we are being attacked. Science as an institution is absolutely under attack right now from the Trump administration by the MAGA and Maha and all those whatever they want to say they are. But all you know, at the end of the day, it's anti-intellectualism, and the reason and why they're coming for science, just like they're coming for medical science, is, you know, people are figuring out how to understand the world, and they don't need to they don't have to ask permission from Trump or RFK in order to know that something's safe or not. And I think that that's why they're coming for science as an institution, and we have to back them up. And it's actually been really cool. I just got a message today from a primary care provider, an MD that watches my show and loves the defense of science, and he feels like attacked just like I do as a PhD. So as scientists, Corey and I, we are uh, being lumped in with the disinformation campaign, just as MDs and DOs and physicians and nurses and public health workers are too. So I think it's awesome to have people like fighting back, and the support has been amazing. So I really appreciate it. Dude, I saw that. Give me a break, bro. It's like this like turning the knife. Like, give me a break. Yeah, yeah. My wife is going for real. Yeah, my wife's going for a DMP right now, and it's just like, she's just like, what did I do wrong? Tried like I spent like 7 years as a RN, and then went through all these classes. Like, it's just I don't know. I had to tell her, be like, hey, I see you as legitimate, like, and it's just very weird. I don't. I honestly have no idea why they would do it, other than there was like some Project 2025 stuff that was like, I don't know, pushing it, and I don't know. I have no idea. Gilberto, thanks for joining, man. Do you have any thoughts on the reclassification of nurses as a non-professional profession? Okay, cool. Whatever. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, mhm. Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah. I don't, well, non-professional. Yeah. I don't understand. It's obviously a professional. Thanks, Dan. Nice. Yeah, it's, dude, I think that there is a huge problem with, third spacing for I've completely changed like jujitsu and doing jujitsu in the last 2 years has like completely changed that for me. Where it is that like that space for me where you can spend time, you can go to classes, you can meet a bunch of new people that are outside your social group, and then also just kind of like grappling with someone that you don't know is kind of interesting because it's like a consent based thing and they're all over you, you know? Like it can be kind of overwhelming, like having someone's like sweat just like drip on your face and like it's just kind of weird, you know? And but it yeah, dude, it is exactly. It really is. And it didn't make sense to me how weird it was until I started doing it with doing jujitsu. My wife does jujitsu. So, like, we were going through some positions, and I was like, oh, yeah, what's it? You know, the stack pass here, how does that feel? And then I was like, oh, that's this position. Like I didn't think about that when it was like a 200-pound dude that was pinning me to the ground and like I was fighting for my life. But now with you, I can actually I'm starting to understand why this is a little weird. Um, but it's really it blows my mind, man. How fun it is, and then also how meeting new people like I won't know their names or anything, but like the connection that you have with that stranger now is honestly, so much more even though than some like friends that I've had for up to like 10 years or like, it could because you're really exposed there and like kind of showing who you are and like you're really pushed up against the, sometimes and it's like do I fold in this scenario or do I fight back? And like you're not necessarily getting into those positions with acquaintances or friends or anything like that often, but like in jujitsu you're pushed into those positions, like you are pushed up against the wall and it's like do you fold or do you not, do you fight back or do you not, like what are you gonna do? And um, it's been it's been a really really fun experience. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. That's cool. That's chill. That's cool. For real. Or that's just like dude, hit the little that dude. Coffee and activity is always a good time, and that's like that's cool because then you're bouldering, so you're not belaying in, and you're not like getting. Oh, okay, so that's way more chill. Rapture, welcome in. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Hi. Sweet. That yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Mhm. 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 Okay. Dang. Nice. Hmm. Nice. There you go. So Rapture, you're just kind of like it seems like you're very like courageous. You're going into these new places and really putting like trying them out, like trying these new ways of meeting people, and like also kind of going back to the old school, like let's go to a club and a interest, a hobby club, and then trying that out too. I think that that's a good way, kind of having a physical activity that you can like team build together is so fun. I feel like that's so like innate to us as humans is working together as a team in order to figure out a problem or solve something, and giving back to something that's bigger than yourself. That's kind of like what Corey's talking about with going to a gym. You're kind of like helping each other be healthy at the same time of also like a good productive friend that can get you out of the house. I love those ideas. Yeah. Exactly. Dude, I love it. And it's such a good way to also be a big impact on your local community. Like everyone just kind of planting indigenous plants and caring about that. And the Rapture goes on walks and she's like giving out scientific names for things. It's incredible. The clips that she posts are like expert level knowledge on plant identification for sure. Oh, this is a great question for you, Rapture. Yeah, please. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Especially for migrating insects and stuff like that. So like monarchs and milkweed, that kind of stuff. I mean, it makes a big difference because their migrations aren't in one fell swoop. Like it takes several generations in order to make the migration for insects. So having transient plants that they can like breed and then live and then come out and it allows that succession, that daisy chain of successions to happen, and it's so big. And you're so right, Rapture. It's not. I love how you were talking about how it's like the symbiosis and the evolution with the insects and the plants, and that's actually something that's been disrupted, right, with climate change and how plants aren't necessarily sprouting at and flowering at the correct time. So it creates this problem that the insects and the plants and the pollinators aren't all showing up at the same time at the same month, and so it's something that's having a big impact. Hmm. 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 Interesting. Wow, that's incredible that you have such a an intimate knowledge of the plants that you're actually seeing that yourself already. That is crazy. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, the birding community is another one where it's like they can see vast changes in migration patterns already with birds and stuff. Yeah, it's a, yeah, especially in the UK. There's like a huge, really um, strong and long history of like birding as a hobby, and so in the UK, people are tracking migration patterns and all that kind of stuff, and you can already see it change. It's yeah, it's pretty spectacular. A lot of the hobbyists are doing it like out of passion, right? And they love it so much. That's why they're jotting this down. That's why they're building up again, building to something that's bigger than themselves. You know, that's the whole. That's what humans do best at, and that they're scientists. They are making observations constantly, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to see what dedicated volunteers can do. Hmm. That's awesome. Nice. Are you If you were going to make a garden, though, would you be more or less likely to plant native plants now? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the right answer. Yeah, because everyone's going to have different native plants. Yeah, exactly. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very cool. That is wild. There you go. In generations, they'll say your name to one another. They'll do the that thousands of honeybees will do the waggle dance and to then. Oh, that's a really good point. Dang, it's like a natural cleaning. You know, that happens. That's nice. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rapture. Thank you for. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Let me. Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Rapture, yeah. That's sick. That's a sick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bro, it's crazy like the amount of people that are hyper specific but do like a really good job on TikTok, and they have these crazy niches that are just super specific, but they're so authentic and they're fun, and their videos are engaging. And I saw one with like 1.2 million followers the other day, and I was like, who would watch this? And it's only like this very specific, very, I forget what it was, where it was so um, but the person was just magnanimous, you know, and you couldn't stop watching. And it was a really, it's such an interesting thing right now, especially in the internet. Like you would think that everyone is, um, that everyone's creating now. That's kind of like what everyone, the feeling is that everyone has a YouTube channel or everyone has a TikTok, but it's actually the amount of viewers to content creators is actually way on the side of viewers, because so many people are watching now, and an even smaller amount of people are creating content now. That like if you have a passion and you have that niche and you have like an expert level knowledge on something, like genuinely creating a TikTok, like trying to put videos out there that you love, you know, and that's the key. That's really key. Like you're gonna go out there and you're gonna make videos to like no viewers for a little bit, and that's okay. You know, that's actually really okay, because um, you're gonna make content that you're proud of, and so then the viewers don't really matter actually, right? So you know, you're just making content for yourself. And when I started in 2021, I literally had, I think they still do have like literally zero views. When you have zero views on YouTube, it says they write it out for you. They don't even put zero, they write it out for you just to like twist the dagger. No views, like that's it. Like dude, like at least give me a number. You're not even good enough for a number yet, dude. Like they're like, no, we gotta write this out so this person understands there are no views. Yes, dude, like how embarrassing is that? So it's awful, dude. It's awful. But like it's genuinely though, you know, you're like you're proud of it. That's why it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So even some of my, go ahead. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And TikTok is honestly really amazing for putting your stuff in front of new eyes. Like the YouTube is specifically very hard to get into. Shorts are obviously really good, but genuinely, I think that TikTok, the difference and why that it is so amazing is that they really do give every like new account kind of like that chance to go viral. So like if you put like in some care into your first couple of videos, they're gonna shop it. Like so. I mean, it's easy to get up maybe up to like 10,000 views on your first couple of like videos on TikTok, like genuinely, because they're shopping it around, seeing within the algorithm who likes it, what's going to happen, who likes it more. So they really try to push you out and to make you go viral. I think that that's the difference between like TikTok and the other platforms, is that it seems to be like you have to kind of, as a content creator, kind of like go out there, and they have to like you have to do more work. I think on YouTube, especially in Twitch, notoriously is like the worst. So you have unless you are like on the carousel, like there's no way that someone's just going to go through just chatting and just like find you, on the thing. It's just notoriously. Yeah, exactly. Like nobody, and because people think like, oh, there's a reason why you have no views. So, it sucks. It sucks, and but that's why YouTube is kind of like that repository, I feel like, and then the TikTok is kind of like the live thing, that's the way to actually meet people. And I think the lives, I've never seen anything like the lives on TikTok, and then specifically the ability to bring people on and the guest feature and like meeting people that way with, yeah, basically built in chat, built in voice chat. And I think it's just really cool. It's just a really cool thing. Sure. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than like I think that it's awful that they are, making them non-professional. I think it's a huge, basically the Trump administration's reclassification of these nurses and everything is just kind of like a pretty uniquely bad thing. But do you? Oh, I guess we have someone else that wants to come in. Uh, Go ahead. Go ahead, Prime. Or well, let's see what Punk says. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Oops. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, people are trying to like commit, better their societies and their communities, and like being more educated. I don't understand like why that would be a burden and why we would not help those people. So Punk Paladin, welcome, man. What do you have to? What do you think about the non-professional degree of nurses now, or kind of healthcare spending in general, or what are you thinking about Punk Paladin? Scott, that's all good. Hey, man, welcome. Exactly, man. And SCOG actually is like applying to med school right now, so it's actually really cool to ask like SCOG. I mean, how do you, what are you feeling? And like the other people, do you have peers that are also applying now? Like, yeah, do you? Yeah, what's your feel in this situation? Of course, man. Yeah, I mean, I think the APA and the AMA and like all the physician lobbies and unions and stuff. I mean, there has to be some professional unions. The nursing unions are huge. They're really powerful. I know, um, from my wife. Yeah, like in San Diego, the nurses unions are so strong, man. They go on strike constantly, and they're constantly doing a good thing, like getting good raises and stuff. So I feel like that is like such a kick in the teeth, as someone said in the chat too, it's like we need more and more um, NPs and nurse practitioners and nurses assistants and nurses. And basically, there's a huge amount as the baby boomers retire. There's going to be a huge need for care, and more of that care basically isn't going with MDs and DOs. Basically there's nurse practitioners that can work as a physician, and the everyday, and then they basically go and get everything greenlit through the MD and DO and be like, is this what you would do? What do you think we should do on care? But they're fully capable of like running a code. Like someone is on their way out, and they make every move to order everything right then and there. So that's why they're used so often, and it's just kind of like where the future of healthcare is going. So it's just very weird to be hurting that. Yeah, for sure, man. It feels that way. I mean, that definitely that the idea of a lot of these professions being women dominated too. I mean, that's like it's just so apparent. It's so apparent them trying to kind of make um, the traditional stay-at-home mom. Like, why are you going out there in these jobs? Kind of. I think that's what it feels like to a lot of these guys. Like JD Vance, and when they talk about these issues, like they don't want to facilitate the degradation of society in their minds. In reality, it's like it's fundamental that we have everyone involved in the economy, that everyone who wants to can, and a lot of these nursing jobs are female dominated. I mean, it is a weird thing. I mean, if you think about it, but I mean, most people, men and women alike, prefer women to be doing that stuff. It's just is what it is. There's a lot of guys that are used for a lot of the moving patients around and stuff like that. But for a lot of the care in nursing, like everyone just prefers a woman. So it is kind of it's just a fact. It's just a fact of life. hmm That's such a joke, dude. If anyone isn't aware, basically the origination of chiropractic practice. I don't even know what we should call it. It's like it was basically a counterculture alternative form of like alignment versus like actual medicine. So the guy was like an actual like crackpot insane, and so the idea that it's like that's okay and be like professional, it's so wild to me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, I would. hmm Yeah. hmm hmm Exactly. Exactly. hmm Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. So there's chiropractics. That's the old school form, and but now they also have NDs. So they have which are naturopathic doctors. Yeah, exactly. So that they used to be chiropractors, now they're NDs. They're kind of changing the name, kind of rebranding, but then ND is really similar to MD, so people are like, "Oh, it's kind of the same thing." There's already the DO there, which is like, so then like what's that? So I feel like they're trying to actually like rebrand a little bit, but NDs and I forget why it came up in my Reddit like search or something, but I think I was actually thinking like googling what the difference between a DO and an MD is and like all that kind of stuff, and then there was a Reddit thread about how about NDs? What about MD, ND, DO? What are the differences? And the whole Reddit thread was just like, bro, in what world do you think that ND should actually be on that list? Like that is absolutely insane. Like, Skog, what do you think, man? What about like ND programs? Mm, mm, wow. Oh my gosh. So that's crazy. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Exact. Yeah. It's MDs and DOs both have to take the same, like the same tests, the same certification, the same board tests. Like they both have to pass the same checkpoints. Okay, that's why they're both like legitimate, and you know the why one versus the other is kind of like an inside baseball thing. NDs were like, oh, okay, we're actually just going to create our own certification. We're going to do our own boards because we don't want to pass your thing, but we're still going to study for boards. So we're still going to be call ourselves doctors, all that kind of stuff. So they've created an entirely different like toll that they have to go through versus MD DOs are both legit. Hmm. At this point, see now exactly now it seems. I mean, I can understand why you would have different routes to that. I mean, as long as you're using medicine and science in order to understand like what's actually going on, like there's in science there's so many different approaches, so I could understand there'd be another philosophical like viewpoint, and as long as you're giving medically like you know similar care, then I can understand thinking about something differently. But like naturopaths, I mean, the problem is that they're not using science at all. They're not actually using any evidence based practices. They are doing harm, like legitimately, because they have their own subscription services that they're going to be giving people to. I mean, I don't understand like the accountability and the hyper hatred for pharmaceutical companies and the fact that they are for profit. Um, and but the pharmaceutical company isn't the same as the MD, guys. Like you're not going to your physician to get the pharmaceutical products that comes from the pharmacy. But imagine like if you had your own, like you went to a Pfizer doctor and like that Pfizer MD gave you a bunch of Pfizer products. You know what I mean? What would you think about that? Like that's basically what happens with naturopaths. Naturopaths say, "Yeah, you need some green tea, okay, or you need some rosemary tinctures." And then, well, guess what? Who has the rosemary tinctures? Oh, it's me. Oh, yeah, and guess what? For a low cost of $40 a month, I can just send you some rosemary tinctures, which isn't FDA approved. They have no actual like certification that there's even rosemary in the thing that they're selling, and a lot of them don't actually. A lot of them, the vitamin things that they're selling you like don't actually have the stuff in them. They're completely false. People have done GCMS on it and actually done science on them, and they completely fail. And it's just, and it gets people sick, by the way, because they aren't FDA approved. So guess what? Like the amounts in there can vary a bunch. You actually had people getting sick from ivermectin in the pandemic. Like people are actually being harmed by a lot of this naturopathic stuff. Hmm. And it's crazy, like with TikTok, dude. Like I had someone coming in here saying that vaccines weren't safe and that you shouldn't trust them because of pharmaceutical companies. And then that same dude, I go on his profile, 1,000 pages about how supplements are actually you don't need them, and nonsense about how you can just have like a perfect immune system and you'll never get sick. On his TikTok shop, all those supplements, dude. All those supplements are right there. And you're just like, dude, the guy's like literally like creating money and making a market for it on this TikTok shop, and like he's actually getting paid for those, buy those products, a commission on those products, man. It's just it's absolutely insane. Envy, how you doing? What are your thoughts? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Hi, Michelle. Welcome up. Do you have any ideas or any thoughts? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do we rebuild that trust? So, for definitely like marginalized like communities, it's being pushed out for so long, and especially like the Tuskegee experiments and that kind of stuff, where it's just and we are seeing like a huge decline compared to everyone else in like African American populations for vaccination rates, for example, like in comparison. So it's having real world impacts, and I don't think that their trepidation is wrong, but I don't I. I don't know if the science is being communicated well so that they know that nothing like that is happening again, and that like the scientific process is completely different than like how it was in the 1950s to the 1970s. um, and like for example, the human trials like that were done for the mRNA vaccines were, you know really open and valid, and trying to um, make sure that the controls were done correctly, that they weren't exposing anyone to anything that would be malice. Yeah, exactly. So the controls and the experimentation and everything is completely different than what was happening. But I think that, rightly so, people are skeptical, but we have to do a better job of communicating that, right? All good. Keep going. What do you think about that, Skog? Like when you're trying to learn, like kind of about this stuff, and I think about in terms of consent in medical, and we see that a lot actually in the medical bills that are trying to be passed in the Maha stuff. These 400 bills. A lot of them are all in the name of freedom and liberty, that I can choose what goes into my body. But like as a physician, like am I consenting? I'm consenting to the whole process, aren't I? The idea that I need to consent at like, hey, am I consenting to you to cut me? Like, well, no, but I'm consenting to you to do an operation, and through that operation is going to be a cut. So like, do I need to give consent at every step? Does medical community need to, or like, how do you think about that? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think you see it in data specifically with the UK. So like in the UK is the United States is ranked like 200th in death per capita for the COVID-19, and the UK is like right down there with us, like 205 or something. And it's like I think that both of us are uniquely like susceptible to the disinformation campaigns that like happen. But I do think what Scott was talking about is that like the American exceptionalism, patriotism is too often like conflated with expertise. Like my ability to say something in a First Amendment right to be skeptical and talk about something, is conflated with like an expertise level, ability. Like your opinion is just as good as someone else's. I think that they're both. It can be. I think both can be true. But Corey, what do you think about as a Canadian? I mean, what do you think that a lot of that anti like medical science conspiracy theories like bleeding over? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Michelle, what are you thinking about, or NB? What do you think? Go for it. But no, can you, Envy? Can you just? I don't think Prime and Corey actually know that story. Can you just like in a 2 minute like reprise, like say like your history here? Yeah, we changed it like an anti-vaxxer that came in, and we changed him. So, so it was cool. Yeah, it was. There's a very there's like half a dozen people now that are all like that, but Envy's stayed and been more and more. I actually got one person to change and then vaccinate their kids too. So that was like a huge, yeah, dude. I'm like, I'm actually like, I was blown away. So and then there's just, so I think that just like getting into like a community that's like positive and like affirming and like, hey guys, this isn't just like some weird thing. Like we can actually help people move forward and through communities like Discord communities. That's a big tool now. I think these streams, and hopefully it can connect people. Bare necessity 64. Let's go. Real quick, we're just gonna celebrate Bear real quick. It's 64 emails, guys. Action.drgregshow.com. Let's do it in three, two, one. Nice. 815 emails or phone calls, guys. Thank you guys so much. Action.drgregshow.com. Everything is pushed out now and sectioned by your state. So now you know who to call, who to email in your state to have more actions. And guys, you call or email your same step reps, your state reps. They are listening to you. They are hearing that call. It is 10 times worth more than an out of state. So make sure that you guys are doing those actions for your state. So action.drgregshow.com. Thank you. Sorry. it's tough because it's like at some point you're never going to be able to be informed about the things that you're taking. So you do kind of like have to, trust the system. Like trust the process. And if it is legal, and the FDA approved, then you should kind of know that there is something there that has been tested rigorously. And I just I think it's the question is like how much do we educate, right? I mean, and that's the real thing. Like, I mean, are we explaining thimerosal and ethyl versus methyl mercury? Are we explain what an adjuvant is, what aluminum is? If there's, it's some case, I feel like you kind of open yourself up to, like, okay, well then what's the concentration of aluminum? Why are you putting aluminum in? Wait, what? And you're like, oh no, okay, well actually it's like, no, there's actually less aluminum in here than in breast milk. It's actually better for you because we can, I mean, the whole reason why in the 1980s, like for example, like you got more antigens and your vaccines were bigger dosages. But now we actually have a lesser vaccine bolus, a lesser amount of antigens, but we've just gotten better at exposing it to your body so that you actually develop a better antibody response with less antigen, so less viral load, all that kind of stuff. Um, so it is. I feel like it's. What do you have, Michelle? Are you? What's going on? What are you thinking? You can chime in anytime. Mm-hmm. I mean, like HRT is only going to be prescribed to you if you're like, a psychiatrist, and like there's, I think that it's like over a year is the, yeah. There's tons of people that are involved with that. Yeah, I mean, and people, I mean, with obviously approved. Uh, Vaccine doesn't even require a prescription. Like you don't need to have one. It's not administered by your PCP. So I do feel like there is true, true, yeah. Um, yeah. What do you think? Well, welcome, Trent. What are you thinking, man? Are you there? Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be ChatGPT. Yeah, it's true. That's what's gonna happen. Interesting. Go ahead, Prime. No, they dropped. They dropped. Yeah, it's just us. Scott, what are you thinking, man? Do you have any thoughts? Oh, all good, bro. Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's so frustrating because it's just like, no, I'm not them. I'm not them. Yeah, dude. That's so frustrating. Michelle, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Do you want to? Do you have anything else, Prime, for the other article? There, I guess we had like one other thing, but I guess we could also like shift gears into that other thing with I guess like political news if you guys wanted to talk about that, or just like regular maha nonsense or whatever you guys want. Corey, Prime, whatever you want, man. Yeah, I think I think that's going to be hard to kind of like show and kind of like talk about. I think it'd probably be better to kind of like talk about maybe like another topic related to RFK, just because like it's hard to show the paper and kind of like talk about it. But the idea with okay, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Yeah, I think you know what, I retract what I said. I think that that's a good idea. Prime, go ahead. Mm-hmm. 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 They definitely did, dude. It's so funny. Okay, so in stream chat, I linked the well, I linked the article, so you can check it out. Hmm. No, it's not the figure isn't a hallucination. It's just like it's just trying to explain kind of the entire process of creating that that link between research and um, you know the actual product that's being used and how it's being used for this purpose. It's just a little like busy, I guess. It's just like a lot. You know that's the what. Is that what it's saying? Is overall working of the framework presented as an infographic? So that I mean, there might have been problems with it, but it wasn't like that wasn't the point of it. Yeah, it says figure one shows the overall informed consent methodology. I mean, I agree with you. It's definitely like a product of AI. I'm just saying that I don't think that that was the purpose of the the figure to do that to prove their point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, look at figure six is the Excel spreadsheet default template. That's always usually a big. No, I'm a PhD, a microbiology PhD. I'm a doctor of science. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like little weird parts about it. You know, I was like, what in the? It's very weird. It's very weird. Yeah, exactly. It's actually shocking. It's very shocking, honestly. I yeah, I'm shocked too. I mean, I guess let's okay, let's just say that there's definitely AI slop here. I totally agree with you. But let's just take it for face value. I mean, what do you guys think about someone being diagnosed from like an AI conversation? I mean, that just seems very self-referential. I would obviously want kind of like a human to confirm, but going through as a physician or someone, a psychiatrist, seeing what someone says and they're saying these things to a chatbot. And I mean, could maybe they're playing devil's advocate, maybe they're saying it nonchalantly, maybe they're trolling, seeing what the chatbot would say. But should there be some place in medicine for these conversations with like an AI? Yeah, and the training of any type of AI model would be so integral to how they perceive any action by the human, right? So it's like whether or not they are more or less um, tuned up to push something or not. That would, whatever the diagnosis would be, it'd have to be repeatable, with the same prompts, like, and have like reproducibility would be huge, and then transparency too, right? Like what was turned on, what was the training, what was the prompt for the AI to push someone, because they could be yeah, I feel like they could be pushed, by certain questions, and especially with like, um, there's sycophant, problems with AI. There's a lot, but I do think that there is some role, like in a kind of like chat bot, where people, as they go forward in their lives, they trust AI more and more. You're going to have an AI personal assistant, for example, that's like kind of helping you out through your day. That's what I use mine for, right? Mine's like my executive function personal assistant, where I just kind of like, these are what I need to get done in the day, and it's like, okay, this is what, let's do this first, let's do this first. So then, because for me, I have a lot of analysis paralysis, where I'll just kind of like sit and mired, like, in trying to figure out the best way to do it, and the AI's like, this is the rough draft, let's get done, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. So like for projects or getting something done, to build something, I had to build some frames, self-standing frames. So I, was working out with AI in order to get it going, and it helped me in less steps get it done and be more productive. Um, I could see in a scenario where you're trusting questions that you would have, like what we were talking about before with like vaccine stuff, where it's like, what is in vaccines, what do I need to know, and kind of like throwing that information back and getting something back. And I think we're gonna have it more in our lives. And then I think in terms of like chat stuff specifically for medical stuff, I think you're going to have physicians that can basically tap into, like, hey, you hit medical questions, or you had a question for your AI. Well, here you go. Authorize your physician in order to see all your medical questions and to see like what you were asking about. So then you go into the doctor next time, and the doctor is like, hey, I heard you were having questions that you might have, like, this disorder, or you might have this. Like, what were you thinking about? Kind of like following up, so you wouldn't have to. It maybe be like kind of creepy the first couple times, but if they knew, like, you thought you might have, I don't know, cancer, or you knew you were having this type of symptoms, and like, maybe letting them know would allow some like more facilitated that kind of questions, because it's hard to remember everything when you're at the physician's office, for example. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, exactly. No Yama streams. How's it going? What do you think? You have any ideas on this one? Welcome in. Hi. Yeah. Oh, all good. All good. I'll drop you back down. All good. Sorry. It's cool. It's all right. It happens when they're tapping their accident. Sometimes they accidentally they hit it. Um. Oh, yeah. Are you here? Here. Let's see. Are you in? Here we go. Boom. Yeah. Hit the accept. Hit the accept prime on your phone again. Yeah. Yeah, I think because you were tabbed out. I think that was the reason why. I think you have to like plug your phone in, and then that's why. Yeah, guys, you follow Corey is it's Corey Campbell out there. That's this and then Prime is coming up too. Prime hosts the best Twitch debates, guys, and he's trying to bridge into TikTok. So he has awesome prompts. He actually puts a lot of time and effort into making really thought provoking questions and panels. So he's trying to bridge into TikTok. He has about 30 followers now, and if every one of you guys followed him real quick, he would be able to do his thing and get his panels going, which would be awesome for everyone. It's grayed out for me. I found you. Okay, perfect. Nice. Yeah, man. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Prime Kai's just joined, guys. So join Prime there. It's all good. Yeah, he's gonna put some videos and stuff up. Imagine, imagine. All right, awesome guys. Go for it, Skog. Yeah, yeah, man. I think, dude, I didn't get accepted until my third round of grad school apps. It was awful. It's like 32 failed apps. It was crazy. Nobody wanted to accept me into a PhD program. It was very frustrating. I'm sitting there doing science, like working with CRISPR in 2014 to 2017. I had all this like expert knowledge, um, and just like nobody wanted to take me. I think it was just my GPA was too low. I had a 3.2, and that was like the cutoff. So it was like, pretty bad. But it's so frustrating that we don't, you know, the GRE scores are kind of going. But they started to not be required, but now some of them are back. But it's just it's really weird how people that are like actually doing science, you'd think that they'd be recruited. You know what I mean? They would almost like academia would almost want to go to these biotechnology companies and be like, "Hey, come back to us." But they really don't, man. They really want. It's really weird. It's just like it's frustrating. It can be frustrating to break back into academia. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of times the people that get like straight A's or whatever in undergrad aren't necessarily going to be the best researchers, right? They're going to be people that things have gone really well for them and they've had to study and they learned how to study, but do they know how to do research and that kind of stuff? And that's where you get the horror stories of some people like going into a lab for the first time after getting a 4.0 because they thought they were destined to be a scientist and they can't get like a single PCR to work or they can't get things to actually happen in the lab and then they just basically quit, because it's just like it's a lot of failing. Like research science is a lot of failing and persevering, failing, researching through the stuff, and then failing. So it can be really personally um, you, you have to wonder. Yeah, exactly, very discouraging. Like you're like, what do can I actually do this? Is this actually something that I can do? And there's a lot of self-doubt the entire time. That's why it's like incredible when you have actual reproducible results. You're like, whoa, this is crazy. I did it, and then I can actually do it again. Like, what? So it's not necessarily the people that get straight A's that can do that. Yeah, it's tough, dude. I'm having the same problem over here. Like where a lot of these tech jobs and stuff because the expansion during the pandemic, and then as money got more expensive, you just have them kind of being cut, and it's rough. It's definitely very frustrating. Hey, Jess Kristen, how's it going? Good. Welcome in. What's on your mind? Nice. Cool. Are you using AI yourself, or like what are your thoughts on like the new direction that everything seems to be going in? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Huh. It's very weird. Like I have conversations with AI that I really like would not have with anyone other than like my therapist. It is kind of weird. People are that is something that is like the number one way that people have conversations, and it is frustrating because you're like, am I crazy? Like, and I'm seeing this, and this, and you know you're gonna give like a sycophantic response. So I feel like I'm always giving myself like, hey, like this is the worst case. You know, like I'm trying to like, hey, this is because in my mind I'm always more self critical than I think than normal. I like, for example, my PhD and stuff. I was the most like I thought my project sucked more than anything, and I was out of all the people that I talked to, you know, I was the person that was the most negative about it, and I think that that's kind of just that's like a normal way of thinking about it. So I think like in order to try to and I'll pace you know a lot. So like I'm a pacer. So like I'm thinking about things, I'm pacing around, and I'm thinking like about something and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna try to get out of this brain loop and I'm just gonna dump this stuff onto my AI and see what happens. And I just like brain dump onto it and then it'll kind of like, hey, this is a course of action. This is you're thinking about this in the right spot. This is something that you're not thinking about. Maybe that's not the right direction. No, I don't like that thing. Or it'll kind of put me in a new direction and it's like, go do this way and it's like I don't like that either, but at least it gives me something else to think about as opposed to like mulling over this brain loop over and over and over again. I feel like I'm like actually progressing a little bit. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Prime, what do you think? Mm-hmm. I'm your friend. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You get. Mm-hmm. You're. Do. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, yes. Yes. Hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That could be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that AI was the only person that could give you that connection. I guess. Hmm. I'm not. I'm not Heather. I'm sorry. Um. Okay. Um. Well, I think we just want to go in a different direction than the for the panel. I think we're gonna try to talk about some other science news. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. We're trying to help, Jessica. Kristen, we're trying to help. We're trying to help. It's okay. We're trying to help you. Okay. We're nobody's trying to. Mhm. Thank you, Kristen. Yeah. I know. I'm sorry, Kristen. It's just not the place right now. So I thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm sorry what you had to go with, but uh, thank you, Kristen. Thank you. I agree. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you. Thanks, Skog. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, man. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, guys. All right. Well, thank you. All right. It's just back to Prime and Corey, guys. Real quick, if you could please follow my friend right here, Prime. He is trying to get to 100 so he could host the best debate panels on TikTok like he does on Twitch already. Guys, he has awesome prompts, really cool prompts that aren't just like, you know, simple questions. We're talking about in depth, real interesting, not AI generated prompts. Check him out, please, guys. Please let his awesomeness come to TikTok just like it goes to Twitch. But it's I want to be observant for you guys. You guys are at 3:30 in the morning right now, so um, it's been 3 hours. So I appreciate you guys. Is there anything else that you wanted to say or an outro, or what are you thinking? Okay, if you're gonna keep going, we can. Whatever you want. Whatever you want, man. If you want to keep going, I want to be. I want to give you like an out because it's 3:30 in the morning. So I wanted to give you like a break if you wanted to. Okay. 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 Sick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, for sure, Rapture. Perfect. I know. It's very surprising. Very surprising. Dude, for real. The figure alone has to be redone at least. Thanks guys. Yeah. Yeah, this is a cool. Yeah, we're doing yeah, dude, Skog is honestly Skog is a really good follow for both of you guys. He hosts really good like scientist panels and stuff. So the guy that was on here he hosts like the best panels that I've found other than Prime. But he has yeah. So like it was crazy. Like I think 8 of us were on there, and everyone had like expertise, and we're talking about like really cool, um, yeah, just really cool topics. But Skog is an awesome, uh, yeah. He's in chat, and yeah. Sorry. So Prime, what are your thoughts, man? Sorry, go ahead.